them all what I'm made up. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so have you ever heard of a situation where, like, the Supreme Court actually had to, like, tell the president's administration to bring someone back to the U.S.?
From, like, another country?
Yeah, and not just from, Canada or something. We're talking about a foreign prison. Like, what? And all because of a mistake.
Whoa, okay, that sounds intense.
It does, right? Sounds like a movie plot.
Totally.
But it actually happened. Like, this is real.
So that's what we're looking into today?
Yeah, today we're doing a deep dive into this crazy case, the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Oh.
This guy was living in Maryland and ended up getting deported to El Salvador.
Seriously?
Yeah, and the BBC News has this whole article about it. It lays out, like, everything, like the timeline, the legal arguments, back and forth, and then finally the Supreme Court steps in. It's wild. Wow,
okay. What are we aiming for with this deep dive?
Well, for you listening, our goal is to, like, break it all down. We want you to really understand what went down, the legal reasoning on both sides and what this whole thing might mean going forward. Big picture stuff.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. So start from the beginning. Who is this Kilmar Abrego Garcia? And how did this even start?
Okay, so Garcia, he was a migrant from El Salvador, came to the U.S. when he was a teenager.
Okay.
Fast forward, it's 2019, he gets arrested in Maryland.
Oh.
But here's the thing, okay? After they arrest him, an immigration judge actually grants him protection from deportation.
Really?
Yeah. The judge decided that he could face, like, real danger if he went back to El Salvador, persecution,
Oh, wow. So legally he was allowed to stay.
Exactly. He had that legal protection.
So then what happened? How did he end up deported?
All right. So despite that ruling, that protection, he was still deported on March 15th.
What?
And it gets worse. They didn't just send him back, regular deportation. He was part of a group that they sent to El Salvador's Secret prison, the Center for the Confinement of Terrorism. It's like a notoriously rough place. The BBC article, it describes it as, this huge prison, mainly for gang members.
Oh, man. So they didn't just deport him. They sent him straight into a dangerous situation.
Exactly. It's a whole different level.
And this is all part of some agreement between the U.S. and El Salvador, right?
Yeah, there was an agreement, like a process for deportations between the countries.
But he shouldn't have been a part of that process.
You got it. That's the whole point. The judge had ruled he had protection.
Okay, so what did the government say about this? How could this happen?
Well, the Trump administration, it was during that time, right? They said it was an administrative error.
Administrative error. That's what they're calling it.
Yeah, administrative error. I mean, come on. That led to this guy ending up in a high-security prison in another country. It's, like, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a little more than just a paperwork snafu.
Right. And, the government also said that they believe that Mr. Garcia was part of the MS-13 gang. But his lawyer completely denies that. Says it's not true at all. So we have these two totally different stories about his past.
So the government is admitting mistake, but they also think he's dangerous.
Yeah, basically.
But they still appealed the district court's order to bring him back.
Right. And their argument was all about, like, the president's power, separation of powers stuff. They said a district judge can't just, like, order the president around when it comes to foreign policy and national security, especially when it's about, someone they consider dangerous.
So they were arguing it was an overreach of the court's power.
Exactly. They said it's the president's job, not the court's.
Okay, then what did the district court do? What was the order they gave?
So this judge in Maryland, Judge Policinas, she was pretty clear. She ordered the Trump administration to facilitate and effectuate Mr. Garcia's return to the U.S., and she gave them a deadline.
Wow. So pretty direct.
Yeah. And of course, the administration wasn't happy about that. They appealed to the Supreme Court right away.
Saying what?
They said Judge Sinas was overstepping, that she was infringing on the president's power.
So another separation of powers argument.
Exactly. And they said the U.S. can't just force El Salvador to return a citizen.
And what did the Supreme Court do?
Well, first they put a temporary hold on the order while they figured things out.
Makes sense. This was a big deal.
Huge. Then they came back with a decision, a unanimous 9-0 decision.
Whoa, unanimous.
Yeah, all 9 justices agreed.
On something this controversial, that's really surprising.
I know, right? It really shows you how important this issue is. They said, basically, that Judge Sinas's order was okay.
So they sided with the lower court.
Yeah, but they told her to clarify some things.
Like what?
Well, specifically, they wanted her to explain what she meant by effectuate. Like, they thought she might have been too specific about exactly how the government should bring him back.
Oh, I see. So they agreed with the outcome, but not necessarily how to get there.
Right. And they also emphasize that the executive branch needs some leeway when it comes to foreign affairs.
So they're balancing things out a bit, protecting the individual's rights, but also recognizing the government's authority.
Exactly. It's a super tricky balance.
I bet the Justice Department was happy with that part of the ruling.
Yeah, they definitely were. Their spokesperson told the BBC that the court was right to recognize the president's power in foreign affairs. They even called out activist judges for trying to take that power away.
Sounds like a bit of a jab at Judge Sinas.
Maybe, but it shows you how much debate there is around these issues. It's not simple.
So the Supreme Court said bring him back, but they didn't say when.
Yeah, there was no deadline. That's up to the trial court to decide now.
Okay, so back to square one, but with some guidance from the highest court.
Right. Judge Sinas gets to figure out the next steps.
What about Garcia and his family? What did they say about all this?
Well, Garcia's lawyer said that, quote, the rule of law prevailed.
Good for him.
Yeah. And he said the Supreme Court basically confirmed that his client should be brought back.
So a win for the legal system.
Yeah, and for Garcia, hopefully.
I bet his family was relieved.
Oh, definitely. His wife, Jennifer, she told the BBC it's been so hard on their kids, on everyone, but she's going to keep fighting to get him home. It's, really emotional stuff.
It makes you realize administrative error, that sounds so cold and official, but it had a huge impact on real people.
Absolutely. So let's recap. We've got a man who was protected from deportation, but got deported anyway because of a mistake. He ends up in a dangerous prison. The courts get involved all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they say, bring him back.
Yeah, wild story.
Really highlight all these complicated issues with immigration law, executive power, the courts. Really makes you think.
It does. It makes you think about, how often stuff like this might happen. The system is so big, so complicated.
Right. There are bound to be more errors. And what do we do about that? How do we protect people?
Big questions.
Yeah.
It's not just about this one case. It's about everyone.
Exactly. Really something to think about. So there you have it. The case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. A pretty unbelievable situation, a deep dive into the heart of the legal system, and a lot of questions about how things work and maybe how they should work better.
Yeah, a lot to think about.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.